Pro boxing fans, we are here in London. Spence Oliver, mate. It's been a minute. It's like they say. It's been a long time, mate. You're too exclusive. You're exclusive to certain broadcasters, making a lot of money, I see.
Yeah, I've been busy, mate, with TalkSport, as you know, and they're covering so much of the boxing now, which is good. Good for boxing because we hit a different market. We know TalkSport Radio is all about sort of like, I don't know, what are you talking? 80% football fans that tune in and listen to that sort of stuff. So capturing a new market for the boxing fan. Boxing's flying at the moment as well.
I do like what you're doing. You've got a podcast and everything going on, various guests. So, you are representing the sport well. But let's talk about why we're here. Great fight. Ben Whittaker, Liam Cameron. A lot of question marks from the first fight. A lot of backlash towards certain fighters in that fight. Talk to me about this one, man. How do you see this fight with Ben Whittaker and Liam Cameron?
Well, listen, I think, it left that debate open, didn't it? The jury is now going to be out on Ben Whittaker. And was it legit? Was it not legit? Only Ben Whittaker knows that. Only Ben Whittaker will know exactly whether he was injured or whether he could have carried on. Look, from people, like I say, people will make their own minds up. Speaking as an ex-fighter, you look at it and you go, look, the way that he fell out of the ring, it was a nasty fall. He clearly, he went down first. It's a tough call, mate, but like I say, only he knows that. But the good thing is, he gets to right the wrong of what happened in that situation. And for Liam Cameron, wow, he rebirthed himself in that fight, didn't he? So, I mean, this one makes this one so intriguing, man. Like, if you look back to, let's use Cole Froch and George Groves as an example, that fight and that controversy that surrounded that first fight, look how big the second fight was. And this fight, not in the same sort of comparison, but this fight is much bigger for the reasons of the controversy of the first fight than it ever was. So, yeah, looking forward to it, man. It's about Cameron getting that opportunity and about Ben Whittaker showing that he is the real deal.
Do you feel like Ben Whittaker's had to go through some mental demons? Because it seems to be a massive backlash. When I looked at online, fans were after him. Not after him, but they were saying, listen, maybe he quit. That was his mentality. Do you feel like there's mental demons these last couple of months for Ben Whittaker?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, there won't be no mental demons if the injury was legit, because he'll know himself, listen, I was injured, I couldn't continue. But if it wasn't legit and it was a way of going, right, the fight was starting to turn the other way, it wasn't going my way, and this may be a good time to get out, then he's going to be going through mental demons because he's going to have to check himself. So again, that's the beauty about this fight, is that we don't know. Only Ben Whittaker knows that. And like I say, look, we know he's a superb talent. I've talked about it for a long time, saying the best talent, not just in this country, but maybe one of the best talents globally coming through the ranks. That night was a bad off night for him, taking nothing away from Liam Cameron, who turned up, showed balls and delivered. But yeah, it's all about Ben Whittaker now, and we find out, is he the real deal? And that's the beauty about this fight, man. I'm looking forward to it. Midlands, April 20, brilliant.
Just a final one on this fight, because you're a fighter, I just want to pick your brain. Liam Cameron coming into this fight must feel really confident, because a lot of people wrote him off for that fight. It was supposed to be a Ben Whittaker win, and then he progresses on to more bigger fights and this star that boxers are trying to make him. But Liam Cameron must be coming into this fight with a lot of confidence.
Listen, Liam Cameron was going into that fight as the opponent, just to turn up for Ben Whittaker to develop in his apprenticeship as a young professional and move on from. And Liam Cameron tore up the script. If you look at Liam's journey, you got to respect it. The journey that he's been on, the way that he come back from the troubles that he was outside of the ring, come back the way that he come back. He had that close loss to Lyndon Arthur, and you just sort of wonder where his level is and where he's going to sort of go. And then he puts in a performance like that. Controversial ending to the fight, when was it? October time. Against Ben Whittaker, and you just go, Liam Cameron, mate, what a journey he's on. And for him right now, he will be absolutely buzzing, because it will have elevated him to another level. Right now, he's getting all the attention. He's doing stuff on Queensbury. He's doing a little bit of presenting, a little bit of commentary, and all that. He's going to like that, mate. He's going to be absolutely loving that. He will be feeding off that. So it will be, it's a tough fight for Ben Whittaker going in against Cameron, because Cameron's going to elevate himself to another level. But like I say, Ben Whittaker, if he is as good as what we think he is, he'll come through.
I think Liam won a lot of fans over, to be fair. I think a lot of people have become Liam Cameron fans and will be tuning in. I do want to talk about the return of Fraser Clarke. He's not in an easy fight here. Obviously, we know about Ebenzeer Tete, somebody who's fought on the shows before, but just a return, getting back into the ring, getting back into the groove of things after such a brutal loss. What do you make of the return of Fraser Clarke?
I'm glad that he's back, Fraser, because I've got to tell you, right, when that happened, we was out in Saudi, we were covering the fight anyway, and I saw Fraser, but obviously we didn't know the extent of the injury at the time, and then when we did hear the extent of the injury, that he'd smashed his jawbone and everything had sort of collapsed, you're thinking, wow, you're worried for him. And like, we went to the airport going, you know what, I wonder how many months he's going to be out here, because how long is it going to be before he can fly? He's had to have all his jaw and his cheekbone wired up and all that sort of stuff. I saw him at the fucking airport and I'm like, what's going on here, mate? So I went up to him and I was like, Fraser, and he went, you know what, like, I don't know where this is going to lead me and my career, I don't know, I've got to see what the extent of the damage is, but my wife's here and I've got little kids and we're going to have to reassess where we're at with it, because it was a big scare for me. Saudi Arabia, Riyadh season, Turkey Al Sheikh, give him the best doctors possible. They've done an unbelievable job, pushed his cheekbone back out. He showed me all the stuff, and it's just like, I just go, is he ever going to be boxing again? Saw him about, I don't know, about a month ago, and he said, yeah, started my first sparring and all that. I'm going, fucking, this is insane. That was down to what they've done out in Saudi Arabia and the doctors and the specialists that they got working on him. It's glad to have him back, man. Fraser Clarke is a huge character, great for the sport, and yes, glad to have him back. Tessie's a tough guy, by the way. He's a dangerous guy, man. A dangerous dude that swings punches from everywhere, and he'll see it as a great opportunity, but just glad to have Fraser back, yeah.
Do you want to talk about the biggest heavyweight, Alexander Usyk, who's been in London, done a round of media yesterday, which started to come out. He's saying he's got 2 more fights left. Yeah. I do want to first of all talk to you about Barry McGuigan, who was in the studio with you guys, and he was talking about Alexander Usyk looking tired, and maybe he could hang up the gloves. What do you make of that? Because Barry is somebody that I respect, and I have a lot. I respect his opinion. Yeah. A lot of people didn't see it that way. How did you see his comments?
No, I didn't sort of necessarily agree with Barry. I didn't think he looked tired. I just think he was in with physically a much bigger man, and that he's going to take a lot out of you. But he just finds that he's got that ability, Usyk, to turn that screw in the later rounds, in the penultimate rounds, 9, 10, 11, 12, where he goes up a level. I spoke to Joshua about it. When Joshua was going into that 10th round, he blew a gasket in round 9. He said, so I've got nothing left, and this guy goes up another level. And that's the difference between, these superstars of the sport. And Alexander Usyk is that. He's got that ability to be able to turn it up when he looks tired. I understand what Barry was saying there was a tired look around him. But listen, he's got 2 fights left. Alexander Usyk said yesterday, 2 more fights. Who they are, probably the winner of Parker Dubois. He probably takes that fight again. And then we may see him in with someone like Derek Chisora at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Derek's been in the studio today, actually. He's earned the right now. He's IBF number 2, right? People talking about Derek wanting to see him retire. And you go, if he's going to go out on his 50th like he is, and Derek's that guy, right? He's going, well, maybe one more fight and that's it. I'll sail off into the sunset. I want that homecoming. I want a superstar fight. For him to fill a stadium, he has to go in with a big name. You go, well, you're looking at people going, well, what about Dillian White again? What about Joe Joyce? What about, and you're going through the names that he's boxed anyway. Derek was in the studio today and go, why would I want to do that again? He goes, I want to go out in a blaze of glory. I want a chance to go out. Could you imagine the Rocky story, like for the way he's turned his career around in the last few fights? Alexander Usyk said, by the way, yesterday, I don't know if you heard this, he said it to our website, guys. Derek Chisora, this is from Usyk's mouth, not mine, this is Usyk's mouth. Derek Chisora is the hardest fight I ever had, right? He said that himself. So, if he says that, then why can't Derek fight him again? And I'll go, and Derek's sort of, he's earned that, I mean, that was like Rocky style the other night, man. Like, like against Valin, you looked at there, and looking as an ex-fighter, and I'm looking into his eyes, and the way that he's digging deep, and the cut on his eye, and everything else. There were moments there like you were in a little Rocky movie, and everyone actually, he's become a national treasure in boxing terms. People love Derek Chisora. You go, let him have that big fight. Let it be against the pound for pound, greatest of our generation. And, he deserves that. So, yeah, I'd like to see him in Usyk if Usyk, decides to give him that opportunity. He might say, you know what, winner of that, then we'll go Derek. And they both sail off into the sunset. Brilliant.
A quick two before I let you go. Martin Bakole, he's part of the Who Wants Him club. Basically, nobody wants to fight him. He's so dangerous, and there's at the moment not a lot of reward because Martin's just so dangerous. This fight with Anthony Joshua talks about in Congo. How realistic? What are you hearing? How realistic is this, and how dangerous is this for Anthony Joshua as well?
Well, he's got a jogger, isn't he, out in I think it's New York in May, is it? Out in New York. And that's like the final eliminator for that IBF title or whatever. So he's going to put himself in that picture. And someone's going to have to fight him sooner rather than later. But yeah, he is the chairman of the Who Needs Him, Who Wants Him club, because he's that dangerous. And everyone that you speak to that has sparred him or boxed him or is around him says the same thing. This guy is going to a tough guy to beat. So no one's going to want to fight him unless they have to. But they're getting put into a position now where they're going to have to. And he deserves it, Bakole, because, you know, I think that Billy Nelson's done a great job with him. He's been patient. He's been calling everyone out, as you do. And you fuck that, I don't want to fight him unless I actually have to, you know what I mean? And I think he falls, you know, he's in that category, but he's put himself in the position now. And I think come through a jugbar and then we get a big fight. Him, Anthony Joshua, in Africa is a realistic proposition. Absolutely, yeah. Turkey's shown he's interested in putting a fight on out in Africa. And if you know, could you imagine, like, I don't know what Alexander Usyk's going to do, go, where he's going to go, what he's going to do, but you go, Bakole having that fight there against the jogbar, Usyk fights whoever, whether he decides. Imagine if the titles did become vacant and Bakole's in that position, and you got AJ floating around, and you go, all of a sudden, bang, reliving that, you know, the rumble in the jungle with George Foreman and Muhammad Ali all those years ago, 51 years ago or something, really trying to create that. You get Bakole versus Anthony Joshua, two African fighters out there. It could be, look, listen, anything is possible is what I'm saying. A lot of people might think I'm talking shit, but I know through speaking through certain people that it is a realistic proposition. And I think that Anthony Joshua also would take that fight if it was presented to him. So yeah, look, who knows? Watch his space.
I'm all down for that fight. It's exciting, man. Quickly, before I let you go, 2 predictions on fights that are going to happen next weekend. Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker.
I think Daniel Dubois. I'll go for Daniel Dubois. I think he's too explosive. I think they'll meet head to head early on. Parker's got to get the tactics right. It's a great fight. It's a great fight, man. Like, it is one of those fights you go, you're not going to be surprised whoever wins it. But I lean towards Dubois.
And obviously the main event, Artur Beterbiev versus Dimitri Bivol.
I go for Artur Beterbiev again. I just think that going into that last fight, he was coming off an injury, of a shoulder injury, and I just think that he will be slightly better in this one. And the problem that he got is that Bivol was great at using the, you know, controlling the space and keeping the range, and you know, his boxing IQ is absolutely insane. But Beterbiev is not just a monster. There's an educated process involved in that as well. You know what I mean? He's just like, where he comes forward and he's doing everything. Like, there's a lot of thought process in what he's doing as well. He's got great boxing IQ. I go for Beterbiev to win again.
Wicked, Spence. It has been a couple of months since I've seen you, and we've done an interview. So I took a lot of your time. I wanted to, because I won't see you for next week, couple of months.
Yeah, exactly. Might see you out in Saudi. Oh no, I'm working with Talksport in Saudi.
Oh yeah, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
Bloody hell. All right.
Well done, mate.
Top man.
Cheers,
Spence
bro.
Oliver. Thank you very much, mate.